Hello and welcome to another live stream. I am XJW Caleb coming at you with audio issues. I don't know why my usual microphone is not working. It's not really doing anything. That's why I was a little bit late. But today we're going to have something very special. You see, there are a lot of topics that I kind of want to do videos about, but I just never get around to it. And I always feel like kind of guilty because I take pride on like covering everything. And there's a lot of things that I want to tell you, my audience, you, if you're watching this, I want to let you know about a lot of things that are going on, but I don't always necessarily like have time to make a video about it because this isn't the only thing that I do. Like it's not like I do this full time. I only do this as a hobby that takes as much time as a full-time job. So today we are going to start with a little bit of news because a couple of days ago the Jehovah's Witnesses presented this. And see, this is the kind of stuff that I'd love to make a video about, but I just can't. So today we're going to go through a lot of these topics. We're going to go, let me just tell you right before we start, we're going to go through these numbers that were just revealed. We're also going to go through some Ramapo news. We're going to go through some New Zealand news because the Australian Royal Commission from New Zealand has also there's been some development. There has been some also development in Norway news, and I finally have some news that of the things that I'm doing to kind of replicate what they're doing in Norway. So that's kind of what this live stream is going to be about. And we're going to get started with these numbers. Breaking news. I'm going to read it to you. This is in the news section in jw.org. Breaking news highlights of the 2024 Worldwide Service Year Report. On November 13th, 2024, the Service Committee of the governing body shared highlights of the 2024 Worldwide Service Year Report with the Bethel family. It was announced that an average of 828,124 publishers share in preaching the good news each month, a 2.4% increase. That is, look, this isn't the full report. This is what I'm reading right now. This isn't the full report. This is just like a sneak peek on the report, which is why I can't justify just making a video, like spending a couple of days making a video about this. But what is after this was very interesting because it says, and for the first time, the peak number of publishers surpassed 9 million with a total of 9,043,460. Let's just stop here right now. Now, I don't know why they have 9 million right now, but they're definitely going to make a lot of noise about this because remember, that was the month that they had the most amount. The month that they had the most amount was 9 million. Now, publishers are not counted the way that they have been counted for decades, I would argue, right? Publishers, before to be a publisher, you needed to do at least, I believe it was a couple of hours of door-to-door preaching work a month, right? With an average of 10 hours being what you needed to be a publisher in good standing, right? But you needed to be active in the preaching work with at least an hour. You had to report at least an hour. Now, for the first time, they changed that, right? Now all you have to do is just circle a thing that says, yeah, no, I definitely preached this month, and then that's it. Right? They're getting rid of the hourly requirements. So it is kind of weird to me that it only jumped up to 9 million for a little bit, because let me see what the average was for last year. Hold on. JW statistics 2023. Let me check the grand totals. See, for 2023, the peak of publishers was 8,816,000, right? And with all of the changes that they've made in how to report things and all of that stuff, Now the Pika publishers jumped up for like not even like almost exactly how much is it? Like 200,000 at most. No, not even 200, like just a little bit less than 200,000. 9,043,000. Like it is like just barely something to talk about. But it is very interesting to me that even after changing all of the ways that they report who is a publisher and like giving all of the leeway, they were only able to like increase it by like less than 200,000 at the most. And that was like the month that they had like the most amount, because the average is 8,800,000, which was the Pika publishers back then, and very close to the average of publishers preaching in each month in 2023, which is 8,600,000. So the average increase is only what, like, look, it's not that much, all right? Like they are going to make a big noise about 9 million. 9 million is not going to be like a big deal. All right. I haven't kept up with chat. Let me just go through it. 9 million publishers is easy because no time needed to preach. Yeah, exactly. Like that's what Jeffrey Bunting's saying. And yeah, exactly. That is what I'm thinking. Like it's not particularly interesting. Like they changed the way that they account this. So to be jumping up and down for just 200,000 in the best month, just because 9 million was finally reached after all of these years of being stuck in 8 million, like almost like 10 years of being stuck in 8 million. It's just not as big of a number as they're making it sound, even right here. Let's keep it reading. Also, heartwarming was the 43.2% increase in those who returned to Jehovah, with 65,816 who were reinstated. Other increases were let's just focus on this. Now, that means if there was like a 43, hold on. That means that they usually have around 100 and how much is, hold on. I'm doing a calculation. 65 816. How much is 43.2%? So usually they have around 30,000 people who get reinstated, and now they have 65,000 people who got reinstated. Now, this is they're gonna make this sound like this is a big thing as well, but it's not also a big thing, and I'm gonna explain to you why. This is a very temporary number, because uh, the people who return to Jehovah, right, are the people who get this fellowship first, and then they're still indoctrinated, like they're even like physically out, mentally in, right, what we would classify as POMI. Those are the people who usually return to Jehovah. There are people who miss their families and everything, and they just go through the motions because they just want to, you know, hang out with their loved ones, and they can't when they haven't been reinstated. So there are some people that go through the motions. I would believe, like I personally believe, I don't have data on this, but the way that I experience the cult and the way that I see the people that go back and everything, I personally believe that the people who go back are people who are still indoctrinated. Because remember, even if this religion kicks you out, that doesn't mean that you will immediately understand, oh, this religion was always a cult. If anything, if this religion kicks you out, you're going to have like even more reasons to believe that you need to like do things right and all of that stuff to because it convinces you that you did things wrong because you're suffering as a result of your shunning, right? So I would state that the people who come back are always like POMI, almost always POMI. Now, what does that mean when it comes to this 43.2% increase? Well, as you remember, they just changed the rules when it comes to how people can go back to Jehovah to make it easier for people. They're saying you don't even have to like be disfellowshipped for like a year. Before, you could be disfellowshipped for like years based on the gravity of your perceived misdoing. Now, just a few months and it's fine. And they told the people, hey, now it's easier than ever to come back to this religion, inviting other pomies that maybe had been disfellowshipped a long time ago to also come back. I think the 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 fact that it's just 43.2% increase, that shows just how few people actually want to get reinstated. Because again, shunning has been a huge thing in this religion, and shunning it gives you a lot of suffering, right? Like you're getting shunned by your whole community. It's not nice. It's not fun. It's very damaging, right? We're gonna go through the news to see just how damaging it is, but suffice to say, it's very damaging. So for them to not even have like double the amount of people trying to come back, even after they put up like this call, like, hey, please come back, we want you, please come back, like, like, I feel like it really shows how easy it is to realize, oh no, this is not this is not the truth, this is actually a cult. Or on the other side, how indoctrinated how indoctrination is not even doesn't work anymore. Because the Jehovah's Witness lifestyle is so damaging, so toxic, so busy, that even when you're out, even when you're getting shunned, you kind of still feel free. So you almost don't want to come back. Like would be my interpretation, because it has never been easier to come back to Jehovah, to stop being disfellowshipped. And they didn't even have a 50% increase. They didn't get double, they didn't get triple, they didn't get half. 50% increase. Like they got less than 50%. And this is just because they changed the rules right now, right? It's not like they're gonna keep changing the rules. So this isn't like, this is just a blip. I don't think I may be mistaken. Let's see next year. But I believe that this new strategy of forgiving people and letting them come back to Jehovah, and putting out like all of this like calls, people, we want you to come back and all of that stuff. I think it was a failure. I mean, they changed the rules so much, and all they got is like less than a 50% increase. That's not good. Let's keep reading. Other increases that were announced including the following: a total of 296,267 were baptized, which represents a 9.9% increase over the 2023 service year. That is sad. They didn't even have a 10% increase. That's bigger than the usual like 5% increase. Like they increased a little bit more, just a little bit more. But again, doesn't sound like the last days, does it? An average of 480,146 Bible studies were conducted each month, up 2.7%. This isn't the full report, by the way. Like, I feel like I should remind you, this isn't the full report. This is just the highlights. It says right here, highlights of the 2024 Worldwide Service Report. They're saying that an increase of 2.7% on Bible studies, which, remember, you need to establish a Bible study for someone to get baptized, right? And they're saying that an increase in Bible studies of 2.7% is a highlight. Come on. Elvin Wright says, it seems like JW is still growing. It seems like JW is successful again, and that they successfully convert people. Listen, every cult will be successful at converting some people, right? This, I don't think I would consider this success. Like, yeah, this cult is still capable of converting people. Yes. I don't think it's too capable. I think I'll make a video about this. once the worldwide service year report shows up, like the full numbers. But the numbers that you see, yeah, I mean, there's some increases a little bit, but if you put it in a timeline, especially if you compare it, like, not just into the 90s, but to like when Rutherford took over, and or before 1975, like, that was proper increase. Like, that was a lot of increase. Like, that is proper growth. This is just like a little beeping in the chart. Like, this is just when you have a whole bunch of numbers, and when you're tracking a whole bunch of numbers, you will always find a few numbers that are a little bit higher than the average, because that's just how numbers work, like, statistically. And this is what this is. Like, it's just, these are the higher numbers. So to say that one of their highest numbers is an increase of 2.7% in Bible studies, I don't think they are that uh, that interesting. Almost every JW has a Bible study with an interesting person. No, not really, because let's see this. An average of 7,480,146 Bible studies were conducted each month. Now, this is not the truth. Let me take a sip. Hold on. This is not the truth. All right. And I'll tell you why. A lot of Jehovah's Witnesses, in fact, I would consider more than half of these studies are not conducted with interested people. They are conducted with minors, with the sons and daughters of baptized members of Jehovah's Witnesses. What does that mean? Well, that means two things. First of all, this is basic. Like, we have no way to differentiate between family worship and Bible studies, right? But here's the second thing. Since both parents conduct the Bible study, that means that both parents, if say both parents are just have one child, both parents are reporting one Bible study each, right? So there's a lot of double ups over here because two parents are reporting the same Bible study separately. So 7,480,000 Bible studies, it's not really accurate, is it? Like, we should remove, at the very least, like, I would think that at the very least is like 30%. Like, we have no way of knowing, but at the very least would have to remove like 30% to get closer to reality. And if you remove 30% of this, it just goes like to what, 4 million, which is half of 8,800,000, which is the average of Jehovah's Witnesses. There are no enough Jehovah's Witness kids in order to grow so quickly, as fertility rate of JW women is very low. According to whom? I don't. What? According to whom? Where are you getting these numbers? If fertility rate is lower than 2.1 kids per woman, the population shrinks, not grows. That's not true. Look, the average growth of humanity is just for like breeding, right? Is 5%, right? It's like inflation. That's how much we grow, 5%. So the fact that they don't grow more than 5%, that means that they're not growing more than the average fertility rate. So I don't know where you're talking about, like, fertility rate is lower. I have most Jehovah's Witnesses I've met have children, at least one child. Like, most Jehovah's Witnesses couples, married couples. It's very rare to see Jehovah's Witness couples who never have children, if anything, in this in this religion. So yeah, no, actually, direction from the branch is that only one parent can count the Bible study, but both parents can count the time. No, as far as I know, both parents can count both the Bible. It used to be like that when it came out. I'll have to double check at this. But as far as I know, it used to be like this when it came out. However, afterwards, they slowly were like, you know what, you can report it. You can report you can report the time and the Bible study. So yeah, as far as I know, that is what happens. Regardless, we do know that these Bible studies Most of these Bible studies will not be conducted with an interested person. They will be conducted with minors. This is just talking about uh, child indoctrination. Let's keep reading. Memorial attendance was 21,119,442, an increase of 3.2%. Remember when I told you that the growth of just by breeding is a 5%? Like that's just the average. They couldn't even get that in a memorial attendance. You know, when it was like a huge increase during COVID because everyone could just attend. Now we're down to like the average 20 million that we've had pretty much since I was a child. Like since I was a child, there's like an average of 20 million people who go to the memorial. The number of regular pioneers increased by 6.8% to 1,651,698. This doesn't really matter. Again, pioneers don't really do anything. They just waste time, mostly just standing next to carts, not even converting anybody. This is the only thing that matters from here is that pioneers can also count time by building. So if they work for free for this cult, they also get to count that time. And the number of auxiliary pioneers increased by 17.5%. Yeah, because you made it easier, with an average of 867,502 serving in that capacity each month. So again, these are not big numbers. This is not a big increase. They have been nearing towards 9 million forever now. And the fact that they got there 1 month, just 1 month during the year, after being like, hey guys, you can come back. You won't even, maybe we won't even shun you. Like if you come back right now, we can just like reinstate you. Please come back. And they only got like a 43.2% increase of the people who of readmitted people. That is embarrassing. I would state that this religion is not really growing that fast. After changing, let's just recap. They changed how they count the members, right? Because before you have to be an active publisher. You have to be out there. You have to be publishing or whatever. Now you don't. Now you only have to marketing. They changed how they how they treat this fellowship people, right? So it was far more appealing for this fellowship people to come in, and also so they changed the rules to reinstate people, and so it would be far easier to reinstate people, and you wouldn't have to endure shunning for like months and months and months and months like before. Like they made it far easier than ever to get people back to the cult. And they just got to 9 million just 1 month. That is, again, if you look at the 2023 average, the 2023 average is 8,600,000. So for them to just have increased by 400,000 just by like their best month, and they only increased for like 200,000 during the whole year. If when in a religion with almost 9 million people, I would say it's not a big increase. It's just not at all. Anyway, those were the World War Service Year reports. Let me see what else we have in the docket, because I even did a docket. Can you believe that? Oh man, did I close the docket? Oh, yeah. Okay. Now, let's shift to Ramapo news. Ramapo is a center that the Jehovah's Witnesses are building to, or at least pretending to build. We'll go to this. It's presented. There you go. And we just got like new news on Ramapo. And this is interesting for a couple of reasons. Let me just tell you what they published. What they published in November 8th, my birthday, 2024. Approval to begin major construction on Ramapo received. On November 6th, 2024, the town of Ramapo Planning Board signed the approval for the Ramapo site plan. This significant step means that the major construction activities may now begin on the project. This is basically talking about hold on. Elvin Wright. Last thing on the numbers. Elvin Wright has this. 1 million increase in 10 years is 12.5% per 10 years, or 1.18% in 1 year. It is the same as world population growth. I would have to check those numbers, but yeah, I mean, if they're growing as much as just the population is growing, just by the mere fact that reproduction, inevitably grows, then yeah, it makes sense. They're not really converting people. They're just converting their own children. Thank you so much, QC Man 2000, who gifted one XJW Caleb membership, allowing people to be members and watch all of the. I have a lot of new things, on a lot of new videos in the channel that I premiere first for members. Pretty much all of the JW broadcasting is out already for members. Actually, not pretty much, like the whole thing, both in separated videos and in the full form. So you can. Oh, yo, Ireland got it. Yo, thank you for the gifted membership. Yeah, cool. So yeah, if you're a member here or on Patreon, you can watch like all of those videos plus behind the scenes, like how I make videos, how much I make, where I show you like the thing that YouTube would never show you, which is like the page that show you like everything that I make per video and all that stuff. So yeah, if you want to support me, that's great. But also, I mean, it's not like interesting. I mean, it's interesting to me, I guess, but like it's not about Jehovah's Witnesses. It's just like self-indulgent stuff. So never feel pressured. But thank you so much. So Ramapo is just this site. Look, should look like this, according to the computer. Ramapo is just like this new site that the Jehovah's Witnesses are building to kind of like film more stuff. However, this new news, I guess, have people looking like kind of side-eyeing Ramapo, because look, if you look at the news, they're always let me zoom in so you can see more easily, because here's what the conspiracy theory is, because it's just a conspiracy theory. There is no proof of this so far. But the conspiracy theory is that they're not actually going to build Ramapo, right? Because Ramapo is always about to be built, but look, this is the news release that I just read you. On November 6th, 2024, the town of Ramapo, we will now start, right? Well, that was the same news in 2023. Oh, the 2023 Ramapo construction project reached a huge milestone. They unanimously oh my God, am I Trump? Unanimously approved the site plan for the project, although there were several remote conditions that will have to amend this. Oh, now the project will proceed in 2023. And in 2022, the town board of Ramapo approved the special permit for the Ramapo construction project. This special permit would permit a major delay to the project. Okay, when are they actually going to build it? Now, I have just been edging on the Ramapo, because every time that it's released, it's like, oh my God, guys, you will not believe it. We just got what we need to start building Ramapo. And then like a year passes, and the Jehovah's Witnesses are like, hey, guess what? You didn't know about this. We actually needed this permit to build, and now we got it, and now we're gonna start building Ramapo. And so look, something that I found like super interesting, because I mean, Larchwood is amazing on Twitter. You should give him a follow. But Larchwood actually pointed something out that I have seen. He says, it's funny to look back at how the governing body of JW would consider letters regarding the Ramapo project by mentioning prayers and seeking Jehovah's direction on property matters, despite Jehovah directing them to buy the Ramapo property. And yeah, I mean, if you see it, ever since like 2008, they say, we agree with your branch. This is a branch committee letter. that got leaked. Not a branch committee, a letter to the branch committee from the governing body that says, we agree with your branch committee pursuing both the Sterling mine, which again, it's Ramapo, and Torah properties at the same time. We pray that Jehovah guide us in knowing which course to take in the future, depending on the outcome of the future negotiations. Another letter, also to the branch committee from the governing body, says, be assured of our continued prayers in your behalf and in seeking Jehovah's direction on the property matters. And another one from 2009. We wish you Jehovah's blessing as you go about making these final arrangements. Like they have failed. They do feel like they're not really sure about Ramapo. Like they're like, yeah, I mean, okay, buy it, but we're not gonna be like super excited about it. Like it is kind of funny to if you take a look at this, because it's just kind of weird. Anyway, so those are the Ramapo news. I just wanted to address it because I do see people like in the comments being like, hey, what about Ramapo? Are you going to talk about Ramapo? Are they just grifting? I don't think they're just grifting. I think this just shows how human they are, how much human organization this is, because they just don't have Jehovah's. Sorry, we have a little bit of a baby blip. Satan is sabotaging my connection. So sorry about that. But yeah, I think this shows just how human the organization is, because this just shows how they don't really know what they're doing. And the closer you get to the governing body, the more they'll be willing to admit, yeah, no, we don't know what we're doing. Like, we're praying, but we know what to do. Let me tell you. So yeah, that's all the news on Ramapo. Let's move on to New Zealand. Because you see, hold on, let me just take a little drink. In New Zealand, there was a Royal Commission investigation into the Jehovah's Witnesses, and in the Jehovah's Witnesses, I'll let if you heard the terms Royal Commission and Jehovah's Witnesses, you probably think of the Australian Royal Commission of the Jehovah's Witnesses, famous not just because of its findings determining that the Jehovah's Witnesses do put children at risk, but because of their interview with governing body member Jeffrey Jackson. Jeffrey Jackson testified to the Australian Royal Commission because he is Australian and he was in Australia taking care of his father for during the Australian Royal Commission, and they indicted him. Right? They got him to testify, and they got him to admit like a whole bunch of interesting things, like how he said that the governing body is kind of just like the guardians of doctrine and all of that stuff. Right? Anyway, there was a new investigation very similar to that in New Zealand that also determined that they endanger children. Now, they not only just determined that they endanger children, they determined that people who you may recognize from the Jehovah's Witnesses should actually are at fault and should apologize, which actually gives very exciting precedent to people pursuing a lawsuit. Now, I'm just going to read you the article. This is an article. You can read it yourself. It's from the spin-off that co.nz. I'm using the Z because we're talking about New Zealanders. So, and they did a good job. So I'm kind of honoring them by using the Z. I'm going to read it to you. The 112 politicians and senior public servants who oversaw decades of harm and neglect, plus those who have been asked to apologize. The final report of the Royal Commission of Inquiry into Abuse in Care finds that a successive list of senior ministers and public servants were at fault for allowing or failing to stop an epidemic of abuse in foster homes, boarding stalls, boot camps, and other state-run institutions. The list of people found at fault includes successive ministers of education, health and social development, commissioners of police, directors general of health, directors of mental health, and the chief executives of several ministries. The Royal Commission report does not list individual names of people at fault, only the job titles. Now, obviously, Jehovah's Witnesses are very, I'm taking a break of reading. Jehovah's Witnesses are big on titles, so, we shouldn't have an issue figuring out who they are, right? Let's keep reading. The spin-off has been able to verify 112 people who serve in those roles from 1950 to 1999. Much of the harm started before 1950 and has continued to present day, but this list is limited to those years to match the Royal Commission's period of inquiry. These individuals were found to have enabled the abuse throughout a range of actions, including implementing harmful policies, failing to investigate abuse, failing to properly train staff, failing to keep children safe, illegally detaining young people, ignoring the perspectives of communities affected, contributing to abusive environments, upholding institutional and structural racism, like failing to address racist policies, alienating minority from their Wanao. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. From the Wanao, and failing to provide redress for survivors. These are the indigenous people in New Zealand. Oh my, it's Caleb. Live or pre-recorded? It's pre-recorded, my friend. Obviously, these politicians and public servants were not individuals who carried out most of the day-to-day physical, sexual, mental, and emotional abuse on thousands of vulnerable of young people. Nor were they the only people in positions of power who contributed to harm. But as the most senior leaders of powerful government entities, they held the ultimate responsibility. The list of people found at fault. Successive ministers of social development and previous equivalent roles, including Minister for Social Welfare and Minister for Social Security. Jack Watts, William Bodkin. There's a whole bunch of people here. We're not gonna talk about them. Successful chief executives of Ministry for Social Development. There's a whole bunch of people here who were found at fault. Successive ministers of health. There's a whole bunch of people here at fault. Successive directors general of health, a whole bunch of people here at fault. Successive directors of mental health, a whole bunch of people here at fault. Successful ministers of education. Now, ministers of education should be like proper Jehovah's Witnesses, obviously. And there are, again, a whole bunch of people. Chief executives of ministers of education. As you can see, they just list a whole bunch of people that they determined to be at fault of all of these like harmful policies. The report also finds that successive governments, including ministers, were at fault. There were 224 people who served as cabinet ministers between 1950 and 1999. Churches found to be at fault for abuse in care. So this is, by the way, this is just like the extra people who are found to be at fault. So Jehovah's Witnesses, don't come at us being like, hey, how come you only report on Jehovah's Witnesses? We are being persecuted. No, that's not what it happens. The Catholic Church, the Anglican Church, the Methodist Church, the Gloria Valley Christian Community, the Presbyterian Church, and the Salvation Army were also found to be at fault. This isn't just into the Jehovah's Witnesses. All right. So now there's a whole bunch of other people who should apologize from the Royal Commission, and check who they name. The governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses. Concretely, the governing body of the time: Kenneth Cook Jr., Gage Flegel, Samuel Hurd, Jeffrey Jackson, Mark Lett, Garrett Losh, Douglas Sanderson, David Splain, and Jeffrey Winder. This is kind of like monumental. This is monumental. Is there a reason why I can't find this news on the on JW website? Yeah. Name and shame. Exactly. That is exactly what's going on right now. This is very important, and also it's very important to take a step back and see that it's not just just the governing body. The Pope Francis should also apologize. The people from the Presbyterian Church should apologize. It's a whole bunch of people. This isn't just about Jehovah's Witnesses. This is about everyone, including Jehovah's Witnesses. Yeah, the Catholic Church should apologize for all of their abuses, and the Jehovah's Witnesses should apologize for all of their abuses. This is monumental because this is giving us the the legal basis that we have to determine that, yeah, this is a cult, and this gives us the reason also to remove the religious status from New Zealand, and to invite other, like, Western perceiving countries who have big Jehovah's Witnesses communities in their area to take a look at them. Because the more governments, and I've been saying this for years now, the more governments determine that Jehovah's Witnesses are a cult, the more governments will want to take a look at the Jehovah's Witnesses. So it's just like this snowball effect. And I think we are already very slowly starting to see it. First in Australia, we're going to go through Norway in a bit, but there's huge developments in Norway. There's developments over here in New Zealand. There has been some developments in Spain and in Japan. I mean, the more governments like that start looking at Jehovah's Witnesses, the more the governments that haven't looked at Jehovah's Witnesses will want to look at Jehovah's Witnesses. And once we get the United States government to do an investigation like this, then that's it. Like, the religion as we know it is not going to keep existing because it is damaging. And the Jehovah's Witness religion depends on the religion status in the United States specifically to be able to operate. Thank you so much, Queen of Flatulence, for two big ones. Hello, beautiful and amazing people. Ramapo says, one can wonder what kind of local needs talks they have had in New Zealand about this. Honestly, I don't. Jesus, I would love to know if you are from New Zealand. And have you heard this? Like, are they even talking about this in local needs? Are they trying to bury this? Because again, I mean, look at this. Like, it's right here. It's right here. They determined that the governing body, and they named them, they should apologize. It's not just that they determined them to be at fault. Like, they determined them to the governing body specifically to be at fault. So anyway, like, this was just like a huge thing that I was very happy to see. Now, just to close this, let me see, where is it? Anyway, guys, is the governing body going to apologize? And why not? Because it is impossible that they're actually going to apologize. But the more people, and especially the more governments, report on this, then the harder it will be for them to be ignored, for them to keep doing that. Right now, those are the new developments in Norway. We are going to move to not Norway, sorry. Those were the developments in New Zealand. We're going to move to Norway, actually, because Jehovah's Witnesses, as you remember, and as I've reported in this channel, like, I have a super long video just like chronicling what happened in Norway when the Jehovah's Witnesses demanded that the government gave them their religious registration back, which they removed based on the fact that they shun children, right? And which has costed them like very close to $10 million by now, right? A lot of people are like, oh, I don't think that they really care about their religious status and about the $10 million when they can sell a whole bunch of kingdom halls and get that money. Well, first of all, yeah, but they'd have to sell the kingdom halls. And second, it's $10 million. And this religion is a corporation. I really doubt that you can find a single corporation that will sneer at $10 million and will be like, oh, yeah, no, actually, we don't need $10 million. Actually, like, I don't think if you think that this corporation doesn't care about $10 million, you don't even know either about corporations nor about Jehovah's Witnesses. But anyway, the Jehovah's Witnesses have been trying to appeal so much on the decision of Norway. In fact, it is very possible, in fact, I'll say likely, that all of these changes that we talked about earlier in the video about how they changed the way that they shun people and how they diminished the way that they shun people and they made it easier for shun people to come back and all of that stuff. A lot of people have said that this was because of Norway, because if you put it on a timeline, it really does look like they started losing like all of this money with Norway, and then they started changing everything. And very recently, they sent a letter to Norway being like, hey, we changed the things. We did a whole bunch of changes. Can you please give us the money back? So now the Jehovah's Witnesses have published this letter. And it is pretty much a letter. Let me we're gonna translate it. I'm going to give you, can I translate it like this? I have never tried to translate it like, you know what? I'm just gonna, oh, crap, come on. Okay, stop it. I'm gonna open it with the Google Docs, and we're gonna ask ChatGPT to translate it as for us. I am gonna issue here an alert, content alert, because it is infuriating. However, I will tell you that even though it is infuriating, it's good that it is infuriating, because if it's infuriating you, then it's probably not going to go well with the Norwegian authorities. Hold on, let me copy this into. Can you hear Lucifer in the background, by the way? He's meowing downstairs. Oh, come on, translate it. It's just I didn't realize that I didn't have the proper translation. I'm kind of looking for it. While this gets translated. Oh, there you go. Here's an English translation. Thank you so much, Janfred Nielsen. Where I was gonna shout him out, but anyway. But yeah, no, he's amazing. Give us the. It's loading. Hold on. There you go. This is to the Jehovah's from the Jehovah's Witness religion to the government in Norway. Regarding decisions to deny state funding and the loss of registration for Jehovah's Witnesses, adjustments in Jehovah's Witness religious practice regarding restricted contact with a person removed from the congregation. Again, the moment they changed the rules, they went back, crawled back to Norway to ask for their religious status back. We will. I'm just going to start from like the last part. We would like to inform you of a recent worldwide adjustment to our religious practice in this area. The doctrinal adjustment was published worldwide in the August 2024 study edition of the Watchtower. The main adjustments can be summarized as follows: removal from the congregation remains a last resort before we'll considering of remove. Actually, I've already talked about this, but yeah, basically, this is what they did, right? This is what they did when it came to. When it came to gaslighting, gaslighting the government, they at the moment that they changed the rules was the moment when they told the government that they were just gonna that they needed their religious registration back. Right now, let me show you the latest. Sorry for keeping you waiting, because we need to. Okay, there you go. Now, where is the important part? They published this whole. They published this whole finding. It's very long. We're not going to read the whole thing. But they published this whole finding because an expert wrote that basically shunning children is actually properly fine. In that removing their status for shunning children, it's actually total. It's intolerant, basically. Hold on, I had like this very specific paragraph that I wanted to. Let's see if we can just go down to the findings. Give me the findings. Does it have an abstract? Oh, come on, it doesn't even have an abstract. Get the fuck out of here. Anyway, so yeah, basically they just posted this letter. They sent this letter to the government being like, listen, we hired this guy to tell you guys that shunning children, it's actually pretty cool. It's actually fine for the development. If you want to read the letter, you can find the letter from, where did I get it? From Reddit. It was shared by Frode Commode on Reddit. You can find the letter right here. You can find the original Norwegian uh, uh, other letter, and also a very interesting link, because this isn't the only time that they've hired this scholar before. They also hired him for their issues in Japan. It is right here. This is the scholar that they use to defend their shunning policies when it comes to children. So, look, this is infuriating, of course. It's very infuriating, but since it's very infuriating, I think it's going to be infuriating for the court as well, because you have to see that the court was not very happy with the Jehovah's Witnesses. That's why they removed their religious status, and the performance of the performance of the Jehovah's Witnesses while fighting for their religious status was extremely embarrassing. It was very bad. Again, if you want to take a look at it, just check out my video on the topic where I talk about it and I recap what they did day by day. But it was basically like they were just wandering about, like their testimony was sometimes contradictory. They were just trying to say that the people testifying shouldn't be testifying because of whatever reason, and trying to disqualify them instead of trying to argue, on proper grounds, right? So anyway, that is kind of like what's happening in Norway. And to cap it all off, let me just share something that Jan Frode Nielsen posted on about Norway, because this is what's going to happen if in Norway from here on. Remember, Norway, it has been monumental in the background of this religion, because it has pretty much catapulted the changes in this religion, the most important changes of this religion that we have seen, right? So this is what he wrote on Reddit. He wrote a Reddit post a while ago, kind of detailing everything that was going to happen, that was happening and that was going to happen, right? At the end in Norway. Remember, if you don't know, Jan Frode Nielsen, Jan Frode Nielsen is the guy who basically started this whole thing in Norway. And he recaps how he testified in March 2023. There was an injunction case based on the points that he made. We won this case, and that resulted in the reversal of their pretend victory mentioned in point 7. Then in January 2024, the main court case in first level went. I testified in second time together with a whole bunch of strong XJW women that I'm proud to call my friends. We won again. Second win is CPC. That is what I recap in the video that I have on the channel. I included my favorite statements for the moment in my life, but of course, be careful pressing if you depend on privacy and being anonymously. Of course, as predicted, Watchtower appealed this decision, as he had predicted, obviously. So now we are getting ready for point 13 on my list. The court has been set for 2 weeks. Let me just bring out the point over here. Point 13. Next level of courts. We're now in 2024, and this will appear in. Listen, I don't speak Norwegian, okay? After the decision is made, or you can read 12 again. When the court reaches its conclusion, the decision will be appealed. There is just no way either Watchtower or the state will accept a loss here, as this is the first test, which again, Watchtower lost. So this is the first test in the new law from 2021 in Norway. There is no way the state will allow one single judge to the lowest court. This doesn't happen. Obviously, this is what happens. The Watchtower is very stubborn. They will want their money, and they will spend a lot of money trying to get it back. Again, they are almost 10 million in the hole, all in all, for this. Right? They tried appealing. So the court has been set for 2 weeks, the first week in February 2025. This will happen again in Oslo, but this time on next level, the appeal court we will face 3 judges and even more attention. As you can see, we are a little behind on my prophecy schedule. but it's right around the corner for sure, not like the other guys. So this is where we are now. We're in preparations, gathering all the pieces together and getting ready to sharpen all pencils, start writing essays and strengthen our nerves before we team up and go into court again, ready to win for the third time. Now remember, the third time would be the third time would be pretty much the last time, all right, that they need to win. So the third time and the last time that they're going to cover this is going to be in February 2025. Now I was a little bit bummed out, all right, because not because of this, obviously. This is I just saw this. Thank you so much, Frog Mode, who just went Pomo. Congratulations, man. Listen, it's gonna get easier, all right. Now, I kind of got sad because I'm like, man, I wish I just had like the funds, like the budget in this channel to be able to like go to Norway in February 2025, because it would be like a dream come true to be able to like be there and report on it and like live, or at least day to day and all of that stuff, because this is monumental. This has already brought a whole bunch of changes to the religion. And at first I was a little bit bummed out that I wasn't going to be able to be there, because I would love to report. However, then I started thinking, and this is what we're going to close with. Jeffrey Punton says, I hope Norway sees through Watchtower and its fake covering adjustments. Watchtower begs Norway for filthy look. Or do you mean money? By hoping to pull the wool over Norway's eyes. Exactly. Listen, that's the point. It's not going to happen. Again, if you're like, oh man, if you're at all worried that this is going to work, that what the Watchtower is doing is going to work, just go watch the video and see how little all of their efforts already worked. All right. It's not going to work. But anyway, this inspired me to kind of be like, wait a second. Why am I all bummed out because I can't go and report on Norway, right? When I can instead just try to replicate it here. Like, after all, what Norway has shown is that they will change things if they stop getting permits, their religious permits, if they stop getting their religious tax exemptions and all of that stuff, right? So I have been like, for the past few weeks, I have been doing a lot of research, right? I've been contacting some people. I've been doing a fuck ton of research, and I have already filed something to try to get them removed as a religion here in Mexico. Now, I'm not going to spill the beans, the whole thing, but because I'm going to make a whole video about this, because I don't just want to try to get their religious status out, like here, try to replicate what happened in Norway, like over here. But I want to make it so every single person who's watching this can kind of see how it works. And if they want, I am also working on instructions so you can replicate it in multiple countries. Concretely, the top 10 countries where people watch my YouTube channel, which will be like the United States, the UK, Australia, New Zealand, like all of these countries, in with a new strategy that has never been tested before. So I just wanted to close with those news. That's just the Norway news, and that I just wanted to close with like this kind of personal news. But it is very exciting. So thank you so much for watching this. This is kind of like, I've been meaning to do this for years, pretty much. I feel like there's always things going on that I would love to report on, but I just don't have the time to, because like I've always said that I will leave XJW Caleb when I'm done talking about ex-Jehovah's Witnesses. Like, once I start realizing that I'm just repeating myself and that I'm start struggling to get new topics, I'll leave. That I'll take it as a sign that my work here is done, right? But it feels like there's just so many things happening that there's far more things happening than the capability that I have to make videos. So I'm hoping that we can just start doing this very like more often, just weekend streams where we can just go through the news, right? Through all of the things that I just don't have time to cover throughout the week in my channel. So thank you so much for joining me, and don't forget to subscribe. Remember, we're going to take down Watchtower very, very, very soon, and I am going to tell you how to do it. You and the hot girlfriend are still together. Listen, that is not my hot girlfriend. That is my ex-girlfriend. All right, because I married her, so she's technically my wife. She doesn't like to call me when I call her ex girlfriend though. Like I don't know why. She